are recording.
Hello, guys. Welcome back to the Sunny Days podcast. How are you guys today? We're doing good.
I was like, I hope they could answer.
They're just like, what? Am I supposed to respond? Or it's like Dora.
Right. We're just sitting there for like 20 minutes like, oh, that's great.
That's wonderful. We're just having like a whole like in-depth conversation. It reminds me of that movie we were watching. What was it called? It was the that guy who would he was like a loner, I guess, and he put the VHS tape in, and he would like have the conversation with the guy.
Yeah.
What was that called?
I forgot what that was called. Oh, we got to put the movie poster on screen.
Yeah, you guys should watch it. It was pretty good. It was kind of fucked up, but
yeah, it's pretty. It's a good movie though.
It was really good, but if you watch it, you'll definitely understand what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Basically, in the movie, the guy, he's like a loner, I guess, and he takes care of his mom, and he goes to a DVD rental place where he also gets like dating videos. Yeah. It's kind of a weird concept, but
it's kind of set back in the before cell phones and texting and things like that. So
yeah, so he finds this thing. It's called like Rent-A-Pal. I think it's called Rent-A-Pal.
Rent-A-Pal.
Or something like that.
Yeah, something along those lines.
But basically he buys this VHS tape and he puts it in, and the guy is just sitting in a room, and he's like, "Hey buddy, how are you today?" And he like has a pause, and he's like, "Man, that's crazy." And then the guy just gets like obsessed with him, and he thinks he's real. It's crazy. It's really good though.
Yeah. The guy on the other side of the screen on the TV, he's played by Will Wheaton.
Yeah, you had told me that. I'm like, I don't know who that is.
He's in a few things. He's a good actor. I like him. But yeah.
Anyways, I hope you guys are doing good. This week was pretty stressful for me. You know, school starts Monday. When this comes out, we will both be starting school.
Oh yeah.
So, that's a thing. I was gonna say that's pretty exciting, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's gonna be stressful, but we're all gonna get through it. If you're starting school, I feel for you. You'll get through it. It'll be okay.
Yeah. Just power through. And if you haven't graduated through high school yet, you'll get it. You'll get it. I promise. And it's worth it. If you're going through college, you'll get it.
Yeah.
It's even worse, but you'll do it, and it's also worth it.
Yeah. I found out yesterday. No, it wasn't. No, it was the day before yesterday. It was Friday. I wasn't able to take one of the classes I thought I was going to have to take. And just to kind of keep it short and not complain a lot, I'd signed up for an additional class. I think I'd brought this up in one of the earlier episodes, but I forgot to actually register for the classes, and I only put them on my schedule. It's stupid, but I was able to get into ethical hacking, but not into any of the other ones I needed. So I just kind of put some like BS class on there that I just would basically take for fun to kind of bring me up to that 6 credit hour level so I could use my student loans, because I'm poor and I live in America. So we have to get student loans unless you can afford to put yourself through school.
Exactly.
So, I just put that class there. It was like American music or something. Just whatever. So I took the class and put it on my schedule and put both of them on there. I was registered, and I got an email on Friday, which I had never got. And it kind of scared me a little bit. It was saying like, oh, you have a payment that's due. And I was like, it should have already taken out. What's going on? So I called the financial aid office, and they basically said, yeah, so American music is not on your plan for school. So unfortunately, you have to pay for the class yourself. I'm like, no. And I'm like right at the end of my degree. So I only have 5 classes total that I can take, and none of them were available except for the one that I already had on my schedule. So that left only 4 other classes, and they're all full. None of them you can take online. So I'm kind of just like, I think that saying is stuck between a
rock and a hard place.
Yeah. So it's just like, it kind of left me screwed basically. And I even called back and was like, can I use like another course that I've already taken. They're like, no, you can't do that. And so I was just like, no. And the guy's like, you're just gonna have to pay for it out of pocket. And I'm like, I can't afford it. And it was so embarrassing. I started crying, and I could tell he felt really bad, and it's not his fault. I was just like, I was already emotional because I had a bunch of stuff that was going on financially earlier as well. Like, got a call from the gym saying, or a text from the gym saying that my payment didn't go through, but like it should have. And then I had another thing for, I got a new phone. So like my old phone plan was like, hey, we're going to charge you $90. And I was like, what? Why? So that literally had happened like 30 minutes before I called him. So I just started crying and I'm like, I'm sorry. And then I hung up.
Just a lot of stress all at once.
Yeah. This year has been very stressful for me, guys. I swear to God, I'm not always this stressed out. It's been bad.
Yeah. No, I feel that.
But yeah, so I got things sorted out. I'm taking just ethical hacking this semester, and it's kind of devastating because I was supposed to graduate this semester, and I still have 4 classes left. So,
Ooh.
I'm just trying to I've come to terms with it already. I'm like, I'm not any less of a person because I'm not graduating. Like it bugs me a little bit because like everybody else I know is like graduated, or if they've already in college, they have their bachelor's, and it's just like. I just can't compare myself, so it's like I'll get there eventually, you know, and it's probably better anyways because from what you've told me, ethical hacking is hard.
And what's really good is that you can really focus on that and only that, so that way you can get a good grade, keep your GPA up, because your college GPA really does kind of matter. When you apply for jobs and you send your official transcripts, if you have just garbage grades, they're not going to consider you that much because they'll be like, they probably just kind of, I don't know, just like went through school, just like they didn't really take the initiative to really try hard and get good grades. But if you got great grades, and like they're gonna see that.
I think it really depends on your degree. Because
one
thing I've heard, just like apparently with like nursing students, or whatever, they said C's get degrees.
Is that with nursing, really?
Well, I've heard it because in my old college I went to, there was like a lot of nursing students. It was very competitive, and you just hear like C's get degrees because they just like, it's hard.
I always thought you in nursing, because it says, since it's so competitive, I always thought you had to do like really well. But
well, I mean,
I know like engineering and stuff, C's get degrees, but like,
well, you do have to do like really well in nursing because it is competitive, but it's like at a certain point in time you're like, I need this degree. Like, that's just what I've heard. I mean, I'm not a nursing student. I don't personally know any nursing students, but like back when I was physically going in person and there was nursing students there, they're just like, C's get degrees. Like,
okay. I heard that a lot in business school.
Really?
Like the marketing, and you could specialize in entrepreneurship, which I thought was interesting. How would you even, how do you really learn about being an entrepreneur without actually doing it? I feel like that's definitely one of those ones you have to experience it more than learn about it.
I forget what college there is, but they let you come up with your own degree. I don't know how it works, but you can make your own degree. I forget where it is. Somebody remind me in the comments. Or if I remember, I'll put it on screen. But there's people who have like super intricate things, or like whatever with a focus on whatever, mainly focusing on it. It's weird, but I mean, I think it's kind of cool, but at the same time, it's just like, I feel like that's so like hard to like find a job with, I guess.
It'd be like construction with a focus or a concentration in drywall.
Well, exactly. Like that's very much how it is. A lot of the people who go there, I think, are a lot of like journalism students or like art students. So like they can say like finger painting with a focus on early childhood development, or like it's just like weird things like that. I mean, not to knock any of the people who are getting their degrees, but
this is so specific that
it's just extremely specific.
It's just hilarious. That's kind of funny though. I like that. I guess if you're looking for a specific job in particular, then you can really focus on that niche and then really just kind of focus all your efforts going to that. And that's why you'd get that really specific degree. That makes sense though. I like that.
Yeah. But besides that, you know, we're doing okay. You know, I'm kind of getting my feet back on the ground.
Yeah.
Besides that, I'm not really too stressed out, you know. But yeah.
Yeah, it's always good to not be stressed out. You know, what does stress me out is getting in trouble.
Yeah.
That's always not fun.
I feel like I'm always in trouble. I'm always in trouble with someone for something.
Right?
Especially on Facebook. I love, like, the keyboard warriors love to attack me, dude.
Really?
Yeah, and it's always for stupid shit, too. Not even anything political. It's just, like... For example, for those of you who don't know what a Cricut is, like a Cricut machine, it's a cutting machine. They have ones that are like the Silhouette. I think there's other ones. Cricut. So it's like a Cricut, but it's a Cricut. So there's this Cricut group for beginners on Facebook, and this guy was asking opinions on operating systems, like which one works best with his machine. And I have the specific one that he has, which is the Cricut Air 2.
Okay.
So I told him, just from my personal opinion, I said, well, I have a machine that runs Mac OS and I have a machine that runs Windows, and I think they both work fine. I don't think there's really much of a difference. And then somebody replied and like, well, actually, there is a difference. Chrome OS does not run this well, and it doesn't run it at all, and whatever. I'm like, okay, I literally said Windows and Mac, and like people were just like down my throats for saying, I don't think it much matters. Because like, actually it does. I was like, yeah, well, I literally said Mac or Windows.
You can't use Ubuntu and Android. Like,
oh my god, it was like so stupid. I'm like, I literally specifically said from my experience, this is what works. I always get in trouble for something on there.
Yeah.
Like, it's ridiculous, but that's how social media is. People love to argue.
Oh, yeah. There's this weird, like, sort of anonymity, and you don't have to, like, face-to-face conversation with someone, so it's really easy just to bash on people.
Well, you don't have to take accountability for your actions.
Exactly.
People are just like, oh, I can say whatever I want. There's no repercussions, and they don't, I think they don't really see people on the other side of the screen or, like, on the other side of the conversation as like real people.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, you can type a mean comment on something to someone and then put your phone down and not look at it. Like, if you're talking face to face with somebody, you can't just like put them down and not look at them, right? It's just like, no, they're gonna argue with you on your point. So
exactly. It's
that whole like face to face sort of dealing with it explicitly that really makes people, I'd say, just meaner on the internet overall.
Yeah.
That's a lot of the reason why I don't have a lot of interaction on social media, because I feel that I won't exactly, like, I don't have any intention of being mean to anyone or anything of that nature. It's just that I feel like it could lead up to that over time. I don't think really anyone has that sort of intention.
Well, what's crazy is that back in the day, like, I will admit this, I was very much pick me, very much like, I'm not like other girls. And I would like bash people, and I would be rude, and I would troll people. I still kind of like to troll people sometimes, but not in like a malicious way. Just like in a way that I think is like really funny. But for example, like trolling people, I'd go on people's live streams and be like, how much is the couch selling for? And they're like, I'm not selling a couch. And then you just keep going on about the couch. Be like, I can come pick it up. I have some friends. We can come pick it up right now. And they get so mad.
I love that.
But anyways, back to my point. I'd be really mean to people, and I didn't really realize that, like, how, like, toxic that is, and, like, it drains you.
Yeah.
Like, just being, like, a bitch, really. It just drains you, and some people are gonna realize that one day. I had, like, not like a sock account, but I had an account. It used to be my main account, but I changed the name on it because, actually, one of the situations I'm gonna talk about today is why I changed my name on Facebook, but I would basically just like troll people and do stuff like that, and I just like stopped posting on there. Probably early 2019, I just stopped going on there because it was so toxic. It would make me so anxious because I would comment something and then people would just like jump on me, and I'm like, I'm tired of this. Like, for example, there's this one time, I don't even remember what it was, and I had commented something, and people were just bashing me left and right. And I had put that I had worked at this restaurant that I'd never worked at on my Facebook.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, well, let's say McDonald's, for example. They're like, oh yeah, you probably make so much money working at McDonald's. And I was like, I don't actually work at McDonald's. And they're like, and somebody in the comment before was like, oh yeah, she's gonna deny that she even works at McDonald's. And like, I didn't. And it was just so ridiculous. And they probably thought they were being so funny. I'm like, this isn't even like funny, dude.
Right.
Like, it's quite obvious that my name is not the name on this account. Like, it's an obvious fake name. So it's just like, you actually think I'd put like real information on that Facebook. It was just like ridiculous, and people were just trying to pick it apart, and it's just like, this is like so toxic. Like, I can't even do this anymore, dude.
Yeah. Social media is just so, there's like good sides and bad sides to it. I think there's a lot of just drama. It
gets toxic really easily.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But social media is like not the main focus of our topic today. It's actually about getting in trouble. I'm sorry I went on that side tangent, but it was a little bit prevalent to what I was saying. But we just wanted to talk about how getting in trouble sucks sometimes, and just our misadventures with getting in trouble. Because I think, especially for my situations, I don't know what David's gonna say, but mine are kind of funny. So if you wanna take it away, David.
Okay, yeah. So I guess we can start to like early childhood. My brother and I I think I instigated a lot of this stuff. Be like, Tyler, we should do this. And it was just like, so I remember one time in particular, we had this window in our bathroom, and it was one of those really small ones that you could like slide open like left to right. And it had a screen on there, and sometimes when my dad would leave for work, I would love to just run to the bathroom and just watch him go.
Like a dog.
Yeah, exactly. And
bye, Papa.
the screen would always prevent me from like seeing really well.
Yeah.
And so Tyler and I had this idea. Well, it was more my idea, but he was on board with it after I told him about it. I was like, we should cut a hole in the screen so we can see Dad leave for work. And he was like, yeah. And so we did that, and there was this huge freaking hole just in this screen. And I remember my dad, I was like, Dad will never know, because he never looks up. I just watch him go, and he's like, yeah, I'll never see it. And he never goes in our bathroom, and so it's like, it's the perfect plan. And it was that same, or probably just the next day, he left for work, and he's like, what the hell? And he looked at the hole. And so he went to my brother and I. We were like in a lot of trouble for that. We had to pay for it.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You take away your allowance.
Well, we actually never got an allowance. It was just money we had acquired over time, I guess, just from like grandparents or birthdays, whatever. And we had to pay for it.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I don't think we actually paid the whole amount, but it was the act of like giving our money because we'd done messed up.
You done goofed.
Yeah, we done goofed, and so that
I think it's so funny, dude. Your brother's always just along for the ride. He's just like, I'm not the main perpetrator, but he's like, I'm just here for the ride, dude.
Yeah, I tend to break people.
It's funny, dude, because I would never expect him to just do it. He just kind of goes along with everything you do.
Yeah. He was just like, he was always so sweet and innocent, and then I'd have this like cunning plan for something. He's like, you know what, that sounds fun. Let's do that.
Which is funny because you're the younger brother.
Yeah, exactly.
So that dynamic is just funny to me because it's usually like the older sibling who's like kind of like conniving and doing whatever, but nah, it's him. I mean, it's you, not him. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like I'm kind of the same way. Like my sister's the more chill, calm one. I'm always like the little devious one. I was the second born, so. So I don't remember if I've ever mentioned this on this channel, but I worked at this restaurant. We're gonna call this the crack barrel.
Crack barrel, okay.
Yeah. So I worked there as a waitress, and I didn't work there for very long. I mean, you guys will hear what happens, but if I mention this already in another episode, I'm sorry. You guys are gonna hear it again. Correct me in the comments. Let me know.
It's a good story, though.
It's a good story. Well, I guess not good for me because I got in trouble, but it's good to listen to. So this is probably 4 or 5 years ago. I think 4 years ago. Anyways, okay. I'm working at the crack barrel, and I'm a waitress, and I didn't really do bad at my job. Like, I was fairly good at multitasking. They'd sit me with a decent amount of people, double, triple seat me, right, and I can handle it. there was this one day I had to work, but I also had an eye doctor's appointment. So when I went to the eye doctor, they dilated my eyes. And for any of you girls and guys and whatever else who have been to the eye doctor, you know that usually they'll dilate your eyes when they're doing a checkup, and it kind of doesn't make you see very well.
Yeah.
So I was kind of going through that. So I got off from the eye doctor, and I was supposed to go to work. And the people at the eye doctor were like, we can write you a note saying that you don't have to go back to work or whatever, and you can just turn it in next time. And I was like, okay. So I took it, but I was like, I need money, so I'm going to go to work. And I probably shouldn't have, but as I said, I needed money, and they probably would have been upset because people don't value customer service workers. So
that's true. That's very true.
Especially back when I was working, it was bad. You got hella Karens. It was like Karens before they were Karens.
Before they were even named.
Yeah. So I went to work, and what I remember from the night is I was doing okay, but I accidentally handed out the wrong ticket. And so at Crack Whore Barrel, they make you give the guests, I guess if you want to call them, you give the guests the ticket, and then they take the ticket up to the front.
Right.
Instead of me just handling their card. So I gave these two women their ticket, and I guess I gave them the wrong ticket, and I realized before they left.
Mm-hmm.
So I ran up to the front, and I gave the cashier the ticket, and I said, hey, see those two women over there? This is actually their order. Like, give it to them. This is actually what they need to pay for. She's like, okay, yeah, don't worry about it. And then probably 5-10 minutes later, I'm like running out of food or whatever, and I had my manager come up to me, and she's like, what happened with this ticket? This is all wrong. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, like I handed out the wrong ticket because I'm like not really seeing great.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess it just like, it's an accident, you know?
Yeah.
If you've worked in the food industry, you know it happens.
Yeah.
It literally happens.
Right.
So I run out what I had, and then she's getting so upset at me. She's like, I told you to come over here, and I told you to help me figure out what's wrong. And I'm like, I already have the ticket at the front.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was my one manager. And then the next manager comes, and he's at the little register, like trying to figure out what's wrong. And I'm just sitting there like, oh my God. And I'm trying to run food because, you know, I done goofed, and I need to help out a little bit to kind of make things not so hectic in the back.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it's like, I'm not just going to stop doing my job because I messed up. Like, it happens.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
So basically, I have like a big thing of food I'm running out to this table. And the guy manager looks at me. He like looks at me up and down, starts like shaking his head. And he's just like, how do you even do that? Just like so nasty and snooty. Wow. And I looked at him, and I was like, I got my eyes dilated before I came here. You know, like, I'm sorry. I'm seeing great. And then I just left and like ran out the food. Like, I wasn't being rude. I wasn't being snooty. Like, I was just being straight up with this guy. And I was like, I thought I was being like fairly respectful. I was explaining to him like why it happened, you know, and I was trying to help out. And then I get back in, and I had the platter, and I see my manager like run up to me, like the woman manager. She runs up to me, and she like grabs me by my shirt, and she's like pulling me off, and she's like, you need to get into the office right now. You have some explaining to do. And I'm like freaking out, and everybody in the back is staring at me. They're like, what
is going on?
And I don't think they ever expected it, like the other coworkers, because I was very quiet, you know. I kept to myself, and as I said, I was fairly good at my job. I never really like messed up badly. So I think they were kind of shocked.
Yeah.
So my manager pulls me into the office, and she slams the door, and the other manager's in there, and he's just like typing away on the computer. And she just starts like screeching at me. She's like, how do you mess this up? This is ridiculous. I have to show this to my manager. And she's getting like so angry. And I'm sitting there, and I'm getting really upset. Obviously, if you're getting screeched at, dragged into an office, and everybody's staring at you, it's really embarrassing.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
So I'm just sitting in there, and I'm really trying hard not to cry because I'm embarrassed. And I feel bad. And like, I feel like I was basically like, I don't know how to describe it, but I feel like she was treating me like I was doing something wrong, even though like I knew I wasn't doing something wrong. She was like trying to make me believe that I had done something wrong. Yeah. And I think she was mostly upset. She kept saying, I have to show this to my manager.
Right.
And I was like, I'm sorry. And she's like, you owe me and you owe him an apology because you were rude and you were snotty to him. And I was like, I didn't even want to apologize because I'm like, I didn't do anything wrong. And so I'm like basically in tears. I'm like, I'm sorry. And then he like leaves and he has like a smug little smile on his face. Ooh. And he leaves. I'm like, okay.
Sounds like they were just out to ruin someone's day.
Well, I guess so. I think they just wanted somebody to blame. And I mean, I knew I was at least a little bit responsible for that because, you know, I messed up. I probably shouldn't have even been at work. You know, I could have just called off. And I thought I was doing them a favor by being there. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because they would have been short-staffed.
Right.
But anyways, so he leaves. And I'm, like, really upset. And she's like, you can't be talking to people like that. That's just disrespectful. And she's, like, lowering her tone now. She's like, it's disrespectful. It's rude. And we're not going to tolerate that. And I was just like, I was thinking, I'm like, I don't even think I was being rude.
Right, right.
And you know me, David. You know that sometimes I can come off as rude.
Yeah.
And I don't know it, but I genuinely don't think I came off rude at all.
Okay.
Like, at all. I think they were just genuinely upset because they, quote unquote, had to take accountability for my actions, even though they're the managers. It's their job.
Right.
That's why they're paid more than us.
Yeah.
It's like being paid minimum wage as a waitress. But basically, it's their job to do that. That's why they're paid more than me to do that. So, rightfully so, I was super upset. And my manager basically just, like, dismisses me from. She's like, you can leave now. Go do your tables or whatever. Because I was in there for probably 10, 15 minutes just being bitched at the whole time.
Wow.
And I have tables. So they're, like, out there. And I'm not able to help them. Just making things worse.
And now they think you're just not doing your job.
Well, exactly. Like, you're hindering me from doing my job. And you're just making this worse for people. So I was so upset, and I'm really bad with holding grudges, but I was not gonna let that go. I'm like, you literally cannot just like treat me like shit and just expect me to come back. So it was towards the end of my shift anyways, and I'm just like cleaning off my tables or whatever, and people are like, are you okay? And I was like, no, I'm not. And then, like, one of the people I was, like, close with was like, are you okay? I'm like, yep, I'm totally fine. And I was so pissed. And everybody knew I was pissed. Like, you could tell. Because I was, like, it's one of those things where, like, seething with rage. And you can just, like, tell when somebody's, like, super upset. And so I, like, cleaned off my tables and I left. And I'm, like, getting right, like, probably like minutes away from leaving, and the manager comes up to me. She's like, oh, sweetie, come on, like, give me a hug.
Ew.
And she like basically forced me to give her a hug, and I was like pissed. I'm like, I'm so mad. Like, you just like yelled at me for no reason, treated me like I was nothing, and then you wanted me to give you a hug. So I gave her a hug, and I left that day, and I'm like, I'm never coming back. And I just, like, I didn't call them. I didn't let them know I was quitting, and I just left.
Wow.
I'm like, I'm not going to let some manager treat me like...
walk all over you.
Well, exactly. I'm like, what are you without me?
Exactly.
What are you without me and any of my other coworkers? You're not going to treat us like crap because you have to do your job? Like, it was ridiculous.
It just sounds like a lot of poor managing, really.
It really was.
No manager has really any reason to do that for a mistake of that caliber.
Well, as I said, if you work in the service industry, like doing waitressing or even work in a restaurant in general, you know that happens. It probably happens, like, at least once a night.
Yeah.
So, like, it's a very common thing to happen. So I don't understand why they were so mad at me.
They're so mad at that particular ticket.
I think it's because they just expected me to, like, I guess, be better because I was, like, one of the good waitresses. It was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like...
That's sad to see, though.
I mean, exactly. This is why there's so many issues right now with, like, employment, because people are tired of being treated like shit. for minimum wage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, there's a whole like nuance to that I don't want to go into, but I think that's definitely one of the reasons why people aren't wanting to work right now is because they're tired of being treated like crap.
Yeah. I feel that.
But anyways, again, I'm sorry if you guys already heard that story. I apologize. It's just one of those things where it's just like, I got in trouble and I want to talk about it.
Yeah. Okay. How long ago was that?
Maybe 4 years ago. It happened in early 2018.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. All right. Well, here I have one from, let's see, it was probably 2016. Yeah, it was my senior year of high school. 2016. So my friends and I had gone out, and I was hanging out with my friends like all day, and we were having fun. I don't really remember much of the day, but nightfall came and we're like, all right, shenanigans time. Uh-huh. And so we took my friend's car, and I was parked at my friend's house. We took a different friend's car, and we just left out into like the mesa somewhere. Yeah. Because we just wanted to have a little bonfire, and it was like cold outside, and we're just like, yeah, let's have a bonfire. And then we were out there, and it got like super windy, and two of my friends were drunk and high, and it was just like a weird vibe. And so one of my friends there, she was like, all right, I'm not getting good vibes. We got to leave. And so we all left, but we didn't all fit in the car. And so it was me, my best friend at the time, and another one of my friend's sister. We were just chilling in the trunk of the car, and we were hanging out the back. So the trunk was open. Yeah. And the rest of the car was filled with people. And so we were just in the back, just hanging out. And then we come up to a 4-way stop, and a cop car is on the other side, and we're just like, no. And so we like tried to hide, but the lights came on. We got pulled over. We didn't even try to run. We're like, this isn't worth it. And because there were so many people in the car, it was funny. The police officer, after he had done, like, was dealing with this, he's like, I'm surprised none of you just booked it. He was like, I'm really grateful you guys didn't. And so he made us call all of our parents to come pick us up. And I was like, yo, my parents are going to ground me for like the rest of the decade. Uh-huh. And so I was like, I asked my friend, I was like, can you just tell your grandparents that I'm staying with you because my parents are out of town or whatever? And he was like, yeah, dude, I got you. And so he called his grandma and explained that. And the police officer didn't know that he said that. Yeah. And so he went up to my friend's grandma and asked him, he's like, so like, what's the situation with, David's parents? And so his grandma was in on it. She's like, oh yeah, they're out of town, and you're staying with us for now. And she came in through clutch. What a queen, dude. I know, right? She came in clutch. She saved my ass that night. And so I spent the night at my friend's house, and we just, it was crazy though. It's probably, what was it, the third time I've been in trouble with the police? Oh my God. I don't think I've really ever been in trouble. I've never been arrested, but I've been in trouble with the police. Well, I guess there was one time I was, but I don't know if I want to tell you all that. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. It wasn't anything crazy. It's just I was basically, just to sum it up, I was going like urban exploring. I was exploring these like old like abandoned buildings in downtown Fort Worth, and I was with my friends, and we were young, and we were smoking a little bit. Yeah, I guess I'll tell you guys. So we were like smoking a little bit, and there was this like rap group who was like at the top of this building. This was like a 5-story building. Wow. If you live in the Fort Worth area, you probably know this building. You've probably been there too. But you're not supposed to go in there because it's technically private property, but people literally go there all the time. And so we had smoked, and this rap group is on there, and they have these giant like speakers, and they're just like making a video, I guess, for their YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. Were they loud? Oh yeah. They're being loud. Okay. They're like, do you guys want to be in the video? And we're like, okay. Just like, okay. Interesting. So we're sitting back there, and then basically we see like people like all the way outside of the property, and they're like pointing up, and they're like looking up, and we see like some stupid Karen on her phone, and she's like obviously calling the police. It's just like, can you just mind your damn business, dude? Like, we're not doing anything bad. Like, we're literally just like chilling up here. Yeah.
Like, it could be worse. We could be, like, damaging property and, like, spray painting.
That's probably what she thought was going on.
Well, she heard the music, so she, like, saw them, like, up there.
Mm-hmm.
So I think she was just calling the cops.
Okay, just to call them and be like, hey, these hooligans.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
I think, yeah. I don't want to go into more of that, but basically, the police were called and we're, like, trying to run out. We're, like, running out of there. And I was, like, maybe, like, 16 at the time. And I was hanging out with some people that I probably shouldn't have been. And I was scared as hell. Because obviously I was a little, like, stoned. I'm like, oh, my God, I'm running from the cops. I tripped and fell. And I cut my leg on some, like, old concrete or something. And I'm like, I'm bleeding pretty bad. And we finally get out of there. We're like, there's no way we're going to avoid the cops. Like, we have to talk to them. So we left. And we get out there. And I'm like, I'm freaking out. And so we were basically explaining to them that we were only up there to take pictures, which is true. That's, like, what we are really there for. Like, we just wanted to take some pictures for Instagram. And, yeah. So basically, the guy, like, I think he could tell that I was, like, there was, like, something wrong with you. I don't think he could, like, prove there was anything wrong because he's like, are you okay? And I was like, yep. Because I could, like...
I'm just really high, officer. I mean, what?
Well, basically. And I was just, like, I freaked out. And it made me, like, I did not smoke weed for, like, ever. I was like, that's it. I can't do that anymore.
Right.
I honestly think it was, like, laced with something, and it was bad because after that, I felt horrible. And apparently, just, like, from the people in the group, they just kept saying, like, dude, you were freaking out. I was, like, saying, like, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die.
Geez.
Yeah, it was really bad, and I was a stupid kid.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Will not make that mistake ever again. But yeah, you guys... You have to keep that on the down low. Don't tell anybody that.
Yeah, it's only on the internet now. So
yeah, I know. Everybody's going to know. But, I mean, to be fair, I was 16. Yeah. I think I actually might have even been 15. I don't remember. Okay. I was real young. But, yeah. Sorry, Mom. I think she probably low-key, like, knew.
She probably knew.
But...
Since you had that little miscellaneous story, I have one as well.
Okay.
I think I was about 15 or 16 in this one as well. Every day during high school lunch, we would go outside and hang by the book room. It was just kind of a cool place to hang out. It wasn't like in the book room. We weren't like, let's go read books.
Book room?
Yeah, they had a book room where you get your textbooks and stuff. And
I remember that.
Yeah,
okay, yeah.
We'd always hang out by that wall. And during lunch, they had... it was mandatory to take a piece of fruit with you if you were to get lunch, and milk.
Thanks, Obama. I'm just kidding.
And milk, I think. You had to get a milk or whatever. And so... Yeah. I hated both of them because the fruit always tasted spoiled and the milk tasted like it had lighter fluid in it. It was really gross.
The fruit was literally so disgusting. Yeah. Like, they would force you to take either an orange, a banana, or an apple. Yeah. And the apple was always, like, it was small as hell. It was bitter. And it was, like... really bitter ones. Ugh, it was so gross. I'd never ate it.
Yeah. And so, basically, because we never ate them, we're just like, well, like, throwing it away? That just seems like a waste. So, we made fun, and we would throw the fruit at the book room wall. And there was this light pole. This light pole that was, like, probably about 40, 50 feet away from the book room. I'd always throw the carton of milk at it. And I've only ever hit it twice out of the probably 2 years that I would throw milk at it, like, every day.
You did 2 years straight?
Yeah. I always throw the milk carton and it exploded every time. It was great. But yeah, the one time I threw an apple and an orange at the book room wall because they were just like, here, David, here's my fruit. Throw it. I was like, oh, I got you, bro. And the apples were the funnest to throw because they would explode. The oranges would just kind of squish. Yeah. But one of the security guards at the school saw that I did it, and he was really, really mad at me. And so he made me clean up every piece of fruit because there was probably fruit just chilling down there for like a week. Yeah. Just like at the bottom. So I had to clean it all up, and I was late for class. Yeah. Oh, that was 10th grade. Yeah, I was late for history class that day. Wow. And no, that was great. It was a good time.
Did he come zooming over to from his moped or whatever.
Oh, he had a
Segway. He had a Segway.
And he came over and he was really mad. He just watched me the whole time. Lunch was
circles
over.
You with the with the Segway. Like Paul Blart.
Right. But yeah, he like watched me pick up every piece, and he was nitpicking it too. He's like, oh, you forgot that tiny little piece of pulp right there. Like, I was probably like 20 minutes late for class.
Oh my god, dude. I always got in trouble at school too, especially when I moved to Texas. I don't know, like I was always like a fairly good kid, and then I moved to Texas, and then I always got in trouble for stuff that I never got in trouble like anywhere else. So like I was always getting in trouble for no reason. So my senior year of high school, I was an office aide,
mm-hmm.
and I also had this teacher, and for those of you who know me, you probably already know the situation anyways, but to keep her confidential because she's so concerned about her privacy, we're going to call her Mrs. Shrill because her voice is so shrill.
Yeah.
She sounds like a witch.
Okay.
And she basically is the Wicked Witch. So she's an
awful... West.
Yeah. She's an awful person. I guess I don't want to make accusations. So, for legal reasons, she was allegedly very racist and very stupid and didn't really do her job well, allegedly. So, there was one time we were in class and she was talking about going to this nail salon in the area.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, I don't even know if I want to say it because it's like kind of racist. I guess I'll just like say it. But she was like, I love when the China women do my nails.
Oh, no.
Because she was talking to some of like the other like more popular girls in the class.
Right.
But she was talking loud enough to where it was like the whole class on the conversation. So I was like, and I knew the specific shop she's talking about. And the people who were running it were Vietnamese. So I said, right. Oh, I'm pretty sure they're Vietnamese. And I wasn't trying to be rude. And she's like, I'm pretty sure I didn't ask your opinion. And she's like, so annoying.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, sorry. I was trying to correct you for being a fucking racist. Okay, allegedly. So, anyways, she just like wasn't a very good teacher. There's a lot of people at the school, not just me, who didn't like her. But one day we were in class and she hated when people were on their phone in her class.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, because she's like teaching or whatever. But even when we weren't doing anything and people were on their phone, she gets so mad.
Really?
Yeah. I
don't like those teachers. I like the ones that are more chill, that like if you're not doing anything in class, you just chill on your phone or just kind of do whatever, you know?
Well, exactly. So it's really weird. But one day she's sitting at the front of the class and she's like just on her phone. Like we're not even doing anything. She's like sitting there on her phone doing nothing. So I was like, okay. So I took a picture and I sent it to my friend as a joke, and right. I said basically something along the lines of like when Bae sends nudes but his dick's small as fuck, because the look on her face, she just looked like very disgruntled and upset, like looking at her phone. And I just thought it was like a funny joke. So I sent it to my friend on Snapchat. And I had saved the picture to my phone because I was like, oh yeah, whatever, a meme. Because I'd seen other people make memes out of teachers before at that school. So I was like, it's not that big of a deal, you know, like I wasn't trying to like be rude or anything. Like I wasn't even thinking about that. And so I had a Twitter, but I'm telling you guys, I literally had maybe like 5-10 followers maybe. And like I wasn't posting it there to be like, haha, you're like awful. And like, yeah, I just like posted there to like, like get a chuckle out of some people like who went to the same school as me and like knew. Yeah. And just like, it was funny.
Yeah, we had sorry to kind of interrupt, but during college we had a group chat in Snapchat, and anytime we'd be in class and stuff, someone would take a picture of the teacher, make it a weird face, we'd make a meme about it. It's great.
Well, exactly. I mean, like, it being 2016, I mean, that's just kind of what people did. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that was 2016, 2017. Yeah. It's really funny you said that. But yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Go ahead.
But basically, I posted Twitter and I didn't even like think about it. And I was working one day and my mom texts me and she's like, Alexa, what's wrong with you? I don't want to say my full name, but she's like, what's wrong with you? I was like, what?
Oh, did she call you by your full name?
Yeah. She called me by my full name. And
that's how you know you're in trouble.
Oh, yeah. I was like, what is going on? And she was texting me and she's like, we got a call from the school. And I was like, okay. I'm like, what did I do? Because I genuinely had no idea what was going on. Like, I thought like someone was like pinning something on me. I was like, what is going on?
Right.
And so I call her. I'm like, what's up? And she's like, we got a call from your school's principal saying that you were posting inappropriate content.
Inappropriate content?
Yeah. I was like, what? And like, including a teacher. And then I put two and two together. I was like, oh, okay. And so I didn't even like realize that. I was like, okay, what's going on? And actually, even at the time, I didn't even know what they were talking about. I was like, what?
Oh, okay.
I'm like, why does the school give a shit about what I'm posting on Twitter? And so, I was like, what? So I hang up the phone and I'm like looking through my Twitter and I see the photo of her. I'm like, oh my God, they're talking about this. It was like so stupid. Like if you guys saw the picture, you would think it was so stupid too. So they tell me that I need to go into my first class of the day and I need to just like stay there until they call me out of class because I knew I was gonna get in trouble because she's one of the town's like big wig people who is just like,
oh, I had one of those like expensive last names kind of thing.
Like her husband was like so and so in the school district or whatever. I don't want to give too much away, but anyways, everybody in this area knew this person. So Mrs. Shrill apparently was pissed. And I knew who snitched on me. I forgive them for it, but I knew who did it. It was somebody like kind of close to me, but anyways.
Someone like one of your friends.
We had argued.
Oh,
so
okay.
I think they were just trying to get back at me.
I see. Okay.
But I mean, it was high school. Like it was forever ago. Like I don't even care. So basically I go into my first class of the day, which was Spanish, and I had this teacher who I also just did not like, and she would always try to get me in trouble for like nothing. Like I'd wear a skirt to school, and then she'd be like, "You need to go to the office. That's like way too short." It was just definitely like in a way ruder tone than that. So I'd go to the front desk, and they'd be like, "Why are you here?" Like my dress is too short apparently, or my skirt's too short. They look at me and they'd be like, go to class. Like it was ridiculous. Like it wasn't even the out of dress code. I'm just tall, so I guess
you had more leg.
Well, yeah. And so that day we were in class and we had these Chromebooks that they would give us to do assignments on.
Gross. Yeah.
So we had the Chromebooks that day, and I told her, I was like, hey, they're going to call me out. I'm not going to take a Chromebook because I'm just going to have to put it away anyways. Like, I'm going to be called out within like 5 minutes. And she's like, oh, yeah, whatever. That's fine. And so I get called out within the next 3 minutes. So they call me to the office. And the first thing that happens, I like sit down and the teacher's like, the principal's like, why did so-and-so tell me that you were refusing to do your work? And I'm like, what?
What?
I'm like, I didn't refuse to do my work. What are you talking about? He's like, well, I got a text from so-and-so who said that you refused to do your work and you didn't want to do your assignments and stuff. And I was like, no. I'm like, we had Chromebooks and I just told her that, hey, we shouldn't do this because I'm about to leave. And he's like, oh, okay. And he just like blew it off. I'm like, what a snitch. Like, I just came to you. That's insane to me. I don't want to speak. Actually, never mind. That's gonna give away who it is. But she was just like kind of rude to me. I have other instances with her where she's just like rude to me for no reason. But anyway, so I'm in the office, and the principal is like grilling me. He's like, "Why would you make that?" I was like, "I just thought it was funny." Like
the meme.
Yeah. I was like, "I just thought it was funny." And he's like, "That's not funny." I was like, "Okay, I thought it was funny." So, and I don't want to be like this, but I mean, I would get in trouble there a lot for like really stupid stuff. Okay. So I was just like, I thought it was funny. He's like, well, it's not funny. And I was like, well, I thought it was funny. So, and I would say exactly that. And he started grilling me on like stuff outside of what I had posted about the teacher. He's like, you share a lot of inappropriate content on there. And I was like, okay.
It's public media. Like, you could do that.
I'm like, why do you give a shit? I'm like, this has nothing to do with school.
Right.
I'm like, that one picture is the teacher, but like none of the other stuff I share is like your business. And what's funny is that when the school called my dad, this is like, I low-key love this though. When they had called my dad that weekend, apparently he had grilled them about that as well. He's like, why do you care what my daughter is posting? He's like, what does that have to do with her schooling?
Exactly.
And I love that for me though. Like, thanks, Dad.
Yeah.
Thanks for sticking up for me. But he was trying to tell me that the content I was sharing was inappropriate. And if I can find my original Twitter and I find the meme that he was specifically talking about, I'll put it on the screen. Or if you're listening, you guys are more than welcome to just go to the YouTube and look at it. But it was like literally just like a joke. Like, it wasn't even like sexual or anything. It was when 50 Shades of Grey first came out. So it was like a joke about, I believe it was a joke about like the sex room they have. Or it was just like a joke about that. And he was so pissed about that.
Wow.
So he told me that I had, I think after talking to the teacher, they said that I was going to get like 5 days of ISS, which is in-school suspension, if you guys don't know.
Right.
And so the way that our school worked is that they had like a room and then basically like little cells that they'd put us in. So we were like facing the wall. There's like borders around us so you can't see anything. It's ridiculous. And so I went in there for the 5 days. I almost got expelled, apparently.
Really?
She was so pissed. Yeah.
She was that mad about the meme.
Yeah, it's like, oh no, it's degrading your character. This is like something she said. Ma'am, everybody thinks you're a racist and a biatch and whatever else.
Right.
So it's just like, I think that's the least of your worries. How about try being a good person?
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe then you'll have like a good
rapport and stuff. Yeah,
thank you.
For sure.
But apparently, because I got taken out of her class, of course, and she was like talking crap about me to the other students. She's like, yeah, well, you guys see that Alexa's in here today. Yeah, well, she decided to post a picture about me and I'm going to sue her and whatever. And she was like threatening to sue me. I'm like, wow.
What?
I'm like, yeah, I'm actually 17 and you work at this school. Like, what?
I would love to see the outcome of that.
Well, it's just, and she never did it. She's all bark, no bite.
Yeah.
I'm just like, how are you going to just sit here and threaten a 17-year-old and then talk crap to the students? I think that just tells you a lot about her character. I mean, like, she's ridiculous.
Yep.
And a racist, supposedly.
Yeah.
Yeah, all this stuff is supposed, but just my opinion, I guess. So anyways, I'm in ISS and they make you fill out this booklet basically just being like, you're in the wrong and this is why or whatever. And we had to write a note to people involved in the situation. And so I wrote a note to my friend and the ISS teacher was not having it. She was so pissed. She was like, why are you writing a note to your friend? They're not in this situation. I was like, oh, well, she was there for me in this situation. She knows about it. And I had made like the first letter of every word, like a secret note. So they would like send it to her.
I love that.
I was so bored. So I was there for like 8 hours a day for 5 days.
Oh, jeez.
That's like a full-time job.
Yeah.
I was there for 40 hours.
It was a whole week.
So I wasn't allowed to be an off state anymore, by the way. So anyways, she got so mad. She's like, you should write a note to Miss Shrill. And I was like, no, I will not be doing that. She's like, well, you should apologize. I'm like, no, I don't feel bad for what I did. And she was so mad. She's like, well, this is why you're here. You're supposed to be basically repenting. And I'm like,
repenting?
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, I actually really don't care. I don't feel bad. I would do it again and I don't care. I didn't say it like that, but I basically was telling her that. I'm like, I'm not going to write her a note saying I'm sorry because I'm not. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I don't care. Yeah. I do not care. So I wrote a note to my mom.
Oh, okay.
I was like, I'm sorry that you had to answer the phone call for getting me in trouble or whatever, even though it wasn't her that did it. But
yeah.
I'm like, I don't care. I'm like, I'm not going to apologize for something I don't feel bad for. I don't know. Personally, just like, I kind of love that for younger Alexxa because I
stood up for yourself.
I stood up for myself, and I never used to do that. So, and it felt good. And from like basically then on, I mean, I was just like, hard-headed. I mean, I'd always been hard-headed, but especially, like,
that was kind of the thing that did it.
Well, I was like, I'm not gonna let these people who have, like, way too much power and, like, abuse the hell out of it just try to tell me what to do. I'm like, I'm basically an adult. I'm like, in, like, 6 months, I'm 18 and I can do whatever the hell I want. So it's like, how are you gonna, like, tell me I can't go to the bathroom when I want to, and
right.
You're gonna tell me that I have to apologize for something that I don't want to apologize for? It's like, you can't force anybody to do that.
Exactly.
But yeah.
Speaking of bathroom, I gotta poop so bad. And we're back.
Okay. So.
All right. So we're back onto my last story.
Okay.
All right. So my last story, this is probably the most trouble I've ever been in. I was in 7th grade, and it was my friend and my brother. This is kind of a long one if I explain all the context, so I won't put all the context in. So basically, my friend and I, we were hanging out one weekend, and we were just like walking around by the park, and we found a lighter, and we're like, hey, that's cool. We should like light some fires because it's cold outside. It was January, and so let's stay warm. And so we lit, like, I don't know, like some weird trash we found outside on fire. We're just like chilling by it. And then my mom texted me. She's like, hey, you need to come home now. It's getting late because it was getting dark. And I was like, okay, all right. So we put out the fire, and then we just like walked back to my house from the park. And we're like, hey, I know you're not spending the night tonight, but we should do this again tomorrow. And so we're like, yeah. And so we did. And so he came back to my house the next day. And then I told my brother, I was like, hey, this is what we're doing. You want to join? He's like, hell yeah. And so we went to the park. We were going to do the same thing, just like light the fire in this like little dirt area where there's no like weeds or anything so it wouldn't spread. Mm-hmm. And we were just like, we were trying to be pretty safe about it. And there was too many people at the park that morning. So we're just like, we got to go back. Mm-hmm. And so we went like back to my house, but we didn't go in. They were like, what if we just like walk to my elementary school, because it was just around the corner. And so we're like, yeah, it's Sunday, no one's gonna be there. And so we did, and then we saw someone there, and we're like, dang, we can't do that. We're like, well, maybe we can go back to the park. So we went all the way back to the park, really far away, and then there was more people. So we're like, okay, so let's just like, we just hung out at the park for a little bit, and then we walked back to my elementary school again, and then there was no one there. And we're like, awesome, let's do this. And so like, before we had even left, I had packed some like toilet paper and candles in my pocket, like little birthday candles, and it was really funny. And so we started just like lighting some stuff on fire, and it was just, I don't know, we're just being really stupid, and so we're just like bored of like just little bits of toilet paper and
trash.
Yeah, trash basically, and it was really windy that day, and so we found. You know, in elementary school when it's like recess and people always leave stuff on the playground.
Yeah.
A bunch of people had left their jacket on the playground. And so we found one. And we're like, let's light this on fire.
Oh my God.
We're like, oh, dude, this is going to be a huge fire. It's really windy. So we didn't want to we didn't want it to blow, this giant fireball to blow away and light the whole school on fire. So we stuck it in a slide and we lit it on fire. Oh, let me give some context before this. We didn't want to walk back to my house, which is just around the corner, to go to the bathroom. So we done peed in one of the big swirly slides.
Oh my God.
We were stupid. And so we did that. And skipping back forward to the jacket, we stuck it in the slide and lit it on fire, and it went. It didn't hold back. And we were laughing so hard because of how fast it just caught ablaze. And there was so much smoke. Oh, so much smoke. And I remember my friend saying, uh-oh, guys, there's people. And I remember my brother saying, like, no, please tell me you're kidding. And the look on my friend's face was just insane to me. And I remember seeing a foot like kind of just come out from the side of the slide, and my brother's face turned and he turned pale. And I was like, this person's going to murder my brother for some reason. I don't know. It turned out to be the sheriff who lives just across the street. He lives like in a portable, I think the school pays for, because he like protects, if there's like an emergency, he's like the first responder to there. And so he was taking his daughters to go play on the playground, and he saw all the smoke. And so he like sat us down, made us put out the fire, and then the jacket had melted to the slide like really bad, and so we were like trying to pick it off. It just wasn't working. They actually wound up having to replace the whole playground.
Yeah, I think I remember it being like the newspaper or something, like the local newspaper.
Was it really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I didn't know that. And so the guy had made us call our parents, and then he called like the police or something. I know he was the sheriff, but he had called like additional police, and then we had gotten they had gotten like a report from us and everything. We had to fill out like paperwork.
Oh my God.
It was great. We're now banned from that elementary school.
Imagine telling somebody that you're like banned from
I know, out of context, like, what? But yeah, no, I'm banned from there because we lit a jacket on fire. And yeah, that really happened. And I was grounded for a whole month, and my friend was grounded for the rest of the night.
Wow. Okay, but the reason I know about that was because I guess I like seen in the newspaper or something, and I had already heard about it. But your friend, he had talked to me about it. Okay. And I was like, oh my God, that was you? He's like, yeah. I was like, oh my God. And I had no idea. That's funny.
That's really funny.
And then we had started dating. You told me about that. I was like, oh my God.
That's awesome.
Like, I didn't know you were involved in that.
Yes, it was my idea.
Oh my God.
I'm telling you, I come up with the craziest ideas, and all my friends just go along with it.
If you ever get me in trouble, It's over. Just kidding. I'm surprised we haven't gotten into any shenanigans.
I know, right?
I guess during lockdown or whatever, and we're just like old now. We don't have the energy anymore.
Our knees pop too much.
Or our backs ache.
My back hurts to do shenanigans.
Yeah, it's like that's too much work. I'd rather sit here and crochet and be old.
Buy dishwasher tablets.
Yes, and get excited over buying dishwasher tablets.
Yep. But yeah, that was my last story. Did you have another, or is that your last one?
I'm sure I have a bunch more, but I think those are the ones that I think are just most notable.
Yeah. That's funny. But yeah, thank you all for tuning in. These are just some stories about our shenanigans and how we've gotten in trouble from them. There's been lots of shenanigans I've done and not been in trouble for them, but those are for another day.
Yeah. So you guys, I wanna bring this up a little bit towards the end of the episode, because these are where our true followers are.
Oh yeah.
We have some extra additional stuff we're gonna be implementing here soon. So stay tuned, you guys. I want to keep it a secret until I have at least some of it prepared.
Yeah.
But we will keep you guys updated. I just want you guys to know, be ready. We got some extra stuff coming out.
Yeah, it's really exciting.
It's really exciting. It's like I've been wanting to do for like a few months now. So
got some neat ideas in the tuck.
We're gonna get it coming into fruition.
Yeah.
Here soon, eventually. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed our episode today. I hope you guys enjoyed hearing us get in trouble a lot.
Yeah.
If you guys have any stories about how you guys get in trouble, I love hearing about it. Please leave it in the comments or come to our social media. We'll put a post on and just talk about it, because I really want to hear it.
Yeah, I do too.
I'm actually really interested, because I'm like, I can't be the only one who just gets in trouble.
Yeah, exactly.
I also want to apologize for the sounds outside. We're trying a different setup today, so if you guys hear some stuff in the background, we apologize. We're still trying to find something that works well.
Yeah. Right now we just have like a blanket fort around our dinner table.
Wow, you're gonna out us like
that, exactly.
Huh?
Yeah.
It looks pretty goofy. If you guys could see it, you guys would laugh. But
oh yeah.
Yeah, we will see you guys next Monday for episode 5. And remember, guys, stay sunny.
Stay sunny.